So for those of y'all who don't know me, the road to Paul was not as fancy as it seems. It hasn't always been Delta Sky Lounges and just traveling to Paris for my birthday to see my boy Damon. No. This journey has been just that. It has been a journey of $10 a day life, a journey of using Airbnb to find a place to stay, a journey of using hotels tonight as you road trip across the country to make sure you don't sleep in your car. This has been an interesting path to get to Florida, oddly enough. More on that later. Y'all might have come to me through Damon, through Misako, through I don't know why, but here we are. I was actually talking to Misako earlier today, and she asked me a question that I had not thought about in a while, and it was, when was the last time that I struggled? Like really had a moment where I was just not at my 100%. And to be honest, it didn't take long to think about that. I mean, currently isolated by myself, it's a struggle every day to get out of bed. What she was really thinking about was just like the funniest struggle story that I could think of. And oddly enough, it was around the time that I actually met Misako back in LA. I don't know if you guys have ever stayed at a friend's house where you ended up spending the night and they didn't bother to, give you a blanket, a pillow, maybe think about even turning down the air, just left you stranded and cold in that living room all night, and you were just like, why am I here? What did I do to deserve to be in this miserable situation? Well, let me tell you, when I moved to LA, I would have much preferred that state than one of the Airbnbs that I was in. I'm talking about, I would have taken the coldest living room with some like knockoff IKEA furniture with like an 8.5 by 11 paper for a sheet. Because when I tell you that I had the worst Airbnb moving to LA, let's back all the way up. Before we even got to LA, this whole situation was a struggle. Let me take you back in time. It's gonna be a minute. I got a story. So I moved to LA in 2014. I had quit my regular job the year before, had been consulting, and got a pretty good opportunity with Sony for a big boy job, if you will. So I actually went against my own word and stopped consulting and ended up moving for a real job, only because it was supposed to be based in New York City. That's correct. New York City, New York, which is north of where I'm originally from, which is Atlanta. But I'm telling you about how I moved to Los Angeles. Walk with me. So I get to New York, and this job, they pulled the okie doke, as we say. God, I'm such a grandpa. They straight up said, oh, you're here, but actually we really need you in Los Angeles. So we are gonna need you to go ahead and just pack up your cute little bags you brought, take them all back to Atlanta, repack them, and drive across the country and go to Los Angeles. Was not my plans, had not saved up for this, was not thinking about moving across the country on my own to a place where I have never been. Homeboy's never been west of Colorado. Like, what? Why? Oh, okay, whatever. I signed the papers, let's do this. So we get in our little Ford Focus, pack up all we can out of our little apartment in Atlanta, drive to Los Angeles, and on the way, he literally downloads Airbnb and it's gonna be like, well, never been here before, don't know, talk about struggle. Don't know anybody out there, so let's just do this. So my plan was to use Airbnb for 4 weeks at a time and test out different neighborhoods based off of what people think are cool and just trying it out and see what that was like. It was gonna be great, it's gonna be cute, adventurous, loved it. Worst decision I ever made, worst decision ever. First place was in Koreatown, and I never knew how bad parking was in Los Angeles, y'all. And it literally, I was there for maybe 2 weeks and thought that nothing could be worse than this. It was a tiny apartment, it was super expensive, and it took me 45 minutes every night to park after I drove from Hollywood to Koreatown to this little old apartment. Thought it was the worst. That's what I thought. I tried Los Feliz. I went down to Inglewood. I was in Playa Vista. Finally landed in Echo Park. But I only ended up there after another quick stop in Koreatown, because as my luck ran out with this little plan I devised, I had no choice but to end up back there. And y'all, when I tell you the trap that I ended up in, I remember looking at the listing on Airbnb and be like, okay, it's a little sketchy. It's a little twin bed setup, little room, weird angle, but they said there's a lock on the door. It was maybe $25 for the night. Like, I was like, this was the last step before I found a wonderful place with a wonderful person afterwards. But this in-between stop was like literally me with a trash bag of laundry that I had to do, my suitcases, my work computer, just all this stuff. It made no sense. So I'm dragging my entire life out of my car into this apartment that I thought was going to have a real bed and a setup. Y'all, I walk in there. It is a grungy twin mattress laid up on the floor, just nothing else in that room, not even a shade on the lamp. It was just a light bulb and a mattress with a knockoff Disney princess comforter spread across the top of it. I'm sure there were days when my mother was back in Atlanta just worried about her poor child and what he was doing in Los Angeles. And I lied through my teeth to her, because if there's one thing that I have learned from that situation to now, it is that life is about three main things: a little finesse, a great fake smile, and not freaking out until you figure out what the fuck you're gonna do when you're in a crazy situation and or you need to ask for help. Let me tell you, I wasn't about to call Vanessa at like 1 in the morning on East Coast time, saying that I just landed in what could have been a crack den of an apartment. So not wanting to sleep on some ratty little mattress, I went to the dude that was running this Airbnb and I was like, look, I can't. I will lock my stuff in here, but is there anything else you can do for me? He was like, well, I won't charge you, but there's a cot you can sleep in the living room. And the fact that this cot was cleaner than a mattress says so much, because you know what? My black ass slept on that cot. I tell you, I could not, I say sleep, I wasn't sleeping. I might have shut my eyes once. There was just the sound of Los Angeles outside, which is just helicopters. And then there was the sound of people walking in and out of this apartment, because I think maybe about 4 other people were living there. This is the most insane moment that I ever had, when I'm making a real salary at a real company. Just 26, 27-year-old Paul just did not plan for this. And you know what? He woke up and smiled and went to work like nothing happened, and talked to his parents like nothing happened, everything was fine. I did the fake smile, I figured it out, didn't freak out, and sure enough, I made sure I went to an Airbnb that had a real bed and had a real host. And that's something that you just cannot ever replace with just things being handed to you or just being told to you. You have to sleep on that I'm gonna stop saying sleep. You gotta lay on that cot in the middle of Koreatown in Los Angeles to realize you are an idiot. And there are things you could be doing in life that are far worse, but also things you could be doing for yourself that would make life so much better. For the love, y'all, like, talk about a struggle. And that's not even like a life situational struggle. That's just a dumb not planning struggle, and one that I will show enough never be in again. Whew. So can't look back at it and be mad. I can look back at it and say, wow, you were dumb, but definitely not mad. You know, really had wished I lived in New York at that time, but you know, kind of glad that I didn't. Those LA days were really fun. And yeah, let's just y'all, just like, if you ever take a road trip, to do a little bit of planning ahead. Check those reviews. Actually, don't check the reviews. Just don't go for a room that has a twin bed and a pretty princess with like 1S bed sheet. Like, that was dumb. God, what was I thinking? God, my poor parents, they're gonna watch this and be like, what did we raise? Like, how did you do that? We sent him to college. Like, I have a degree. Oh, God. Oh my God. That was so dumb. And dangerous. What?